Hey there cats, good time of the day to you and thank you for tuning into my channel. This here I'm playing Watch Dogs and I've set my character to use a Black Viceroy model instead of default character model. And well, what can I say? Let's compare the process of setting this character model with the games of the same style, namely GTA 4 and Mafia 2 are the games I remember where I've done this same thing. And well, compared to those games, Watch Dogs 2 cannot really use scripts. I've been told that the script hook that have been used with Watch Dogs has become outdated and the new script hook haven't been released because of the because of the online. And I've been said that the creators of the script hook are afraid that cheaters will use this script hook to cheat in the online gameplay. All I can say, fuck it, fuck online, release the script hook and do us all a favor. Well, either way, so far there is no script hook, and even if there is one, I'm not sure if it can change models. But once again, so far you cannot change models with the script, so you cannot change models during the gameplay. You can edit the game files though, so once you load the game will actually use the model you would like to use instead of the one which is set by default. This is how you set models in Watch Dogs, just edit the game files. It is really not hard, not as comfortable as using scripts, but still, say, good enough. Now, there are several problems with this model, since they were never intended to be playable, of course, and these problems are because of the specific stuff the default characters use. Namely, Aiden Pierce, for example, he uses a code. His character model includes a code, and his animation, especially walking animation, includes Aiden Pierce putting his hands into the pockets of his coat. And of course these Black Viceroy models and most of the other models in the game do not have coats or pockets, so walking animation, they're looking kinda weird. Oh boy, that's some Pulp Fiction kind of accuracy, dude. Yeah, well, as far as I know, nobody ever figured out how to disable that hands in pockets caught animation. So you gotta deal with it, and that's all you can do. As for T-Bone in the Bad Blood DLC, the problem is his utility bar. And the thing is, well, as you can see right now, I'm hitting this guy with an air, with a Jedi mind trick, so to say. So yeah, I've had to remove utility bar, and the reason for that is because T-Bone's utility bar is rigged to be hooked to his backpack. And of course, all these models I'm playing with right now, they do not have T-Bone's backpack. It is actually possible to add the backpack to the models, but I kinda want to play with original models, yeah. So I do not want to add it, and so my decision was to remove the utility bar altogether. If I wouldn't do it, it would actually float in the ground under the model, under my character's legs, like in between of my character's legs, because without backpack it has nothing to be rigged to, nothing to connect to. Yeah. As I've said, I can actually add a backpack, and yes, I can do that, because the upside of editing files, other than using the scripts, is the fact that you can actually, in the files that are located nearby, you can actually edit the said models themselves. You can change the torso, the legs, the head, or you can edit the accessories, namely backpacks, sunglasses, all that stuff. Yeah, you can edit that as well. This female model is a Black Viceroy gang model. As far as I understand, it is the only female gang model in the first Watch Dogs. You can see this female in the very first mission, bottom of the 8s, and where it has a special profile, by the way, a unique profile. And you can also notice this very girl, which is treated as Black Viceroy by the other Black Viceroys in that mission where you have to peek into Rossi Fremont via cameras. She is on the very first floor, and I don't remember how the mission is called, but she's there, and she's treated as an equal gang member, as far as I can say, albeit she doesn't have that unique profile in that mission. Anyway, this female model works even with more stuff that you gotta, gotta just take it as it is. Namely, some animations are misaligned because obviously the devs never planned you to play with the female models, only male characters by default, right? Like in a muscle car, her hand isn't really placed on the steering wheel, or when you drink a beer in the bar, the bottle floats like several inches away from her hand. But once again, that's something that is bearable. Now, there is also a problem that while I'm playing with the female model, the voices are still from the default characters, Aiden, Pierce and T-Bone. On the male models it is kinda not that noticeable, but here every grunt, every dialogue, it is of course still in the default male voice. It looks a bit more awkward than on male models. Once again, not a big of a deal in my opinion. Not a big deal at all. Besides the main deal, because it is the major gameplay element, the weapons, as you can see, they are all aligned properly for the female model. I think these weapons are aligned properly because at some point of the development Ubisoft actually planned the female characters to participate in gunfights. Probably they planned more of female gang characters, kinda like they've made it after all in Watch Dogs 2. Either way, the weapons are aligned properly, so it is completely playable and it looks good. I'm driving in a third person for a bit just to show you that I have sticky bombs in the trunk of my car. It is actually possible to throw bombs in the trunk of a car. You cannot really open a trunk by default. You can carefully pop the trunk open with several shots from your weapon. You have to be very precise, but it is possible to throw the sticky bombs into the trunk of a car and do a car bomb. You cannot really close the trunk afterwards, but still it looks kinda good, albeit it is much easier to simply throw the bombs into the interior of a car rather than into the trunk specifically. Playing as Black Viceroy, I think it is a proper thing to actually use a good old-fashioned car bomb instead of fancy hacks and stuff. This here I'm playing with an Enforcer model, and well, even though I'm an Enforcer, thing is I still have all the default characters' health and default characters' animations and all the stuff. So yeah, once again, the things applies. The same thing applies. It is simply a model swap, nothing fancy. So I'm not really armored and thing. It still looks good though. This fancy Enforcer model is not a simple Black Viceroy's Enforcer, but rather Iraq's personal bodyguard, which you have to fight in the mission where you break into the Rossi Fremont and you have to take it down. Unfortunately, all the other Black Viceroys do not use such a cool looking graffiti covered Enforcer model. All the other Black Viceroy Enforcers are kinda less fancy. Just look at this, Watch Dogs physics at its prime. Yeah. I've also further modified this model a bit by swapping the whole upper torso. I didn't like the bulletproof vest too much, but unfortunately the bulletproof vest is kinda inseparable from the upper torso, so I've swapped the whole upper torso part with a different one from another Black Viceroy Enforcer, which I've liked a bit more. You can actually set the Black Viceroy's Enforcers to use this model as well. You can actually set all the Black Viceroy's Enforcers to use this fancy model. It is relatively easy to do this. All in all, you can juggle the models around as much as you wish and even swap some parts of them around. They are all relatively playable, so to say, and they all can less or more replace each other. By less or more, I mean less or more without glitches. If it is actually possible to give yourself like more health to be an actual enforcers, well, I bet it is possible. In fact, as far as I remember, the Living City mod from the Silver includes the armor-plated custom mission, which gives you the Enforcer armor, and I've never tried that mission. I haven't tried all the features of the Living City mod, but I bet the Silver, being more skilled than me, actually gives the player more health along the Enforcer armor, so it is more a proper, like, Enforcer experience rather than just a model swap. But I have no idea about how to do it, and I have no idea how hard it is. No idea if it is actually worth to try and give the player character more health when he plays with an Enforcer armor. I bet it is not easy at all, because most of Watch Dogs modding is kinda unnecessarily complicated, simply because the game is made this way. Albeit the model swap, yeah, this one is relatively easy, but all in all, I do not really want to spend much time. I just want to run around with Enforcer's model a bit, that's all. It could probably be nice to give the player a bit more health, but I bet you will have to change quite a lot of files to do it properly. I can be wrong though. Possibly giving yourself more health is just one line. Quite possible. But once again, I haven't asked about this. I've asked the Silver about if it is possible to re-rig T-Bone's utility bar. That's what actually got me interested. And thing is, it is possible to re-rig T-Bone's utility bar, but yeah, it is really hard, and that one definitely doesn't worth it. It is much easier simply to ignore the fact that your character hits your enemies with Jedi mind tricks and replace utility bar with an empty model. In my opinion, it is much more practical this way, albeit you can always spend your time and ask Silver about it, and maybe he'll guide you. And finally I've done it. It is actually possible to land on the roof of this convoy. I've spent half an hour trying to do it, and I was pretty sure I'll get killed. Alright, but I didn't foresee this. Oh, only one bomb landed on the roof. Come on now. Maybe if I'll do it like this. No. Alright, let's just hope that one bomb will be enough. Oh, it is enough. Woo! I couldn't spend another half an hour trying to land on the roof again. Oh fuck, it's an enforcer! Damn it! Oh, damn it. Oh, lucky bastard. Fuck. You know, in that Bad Blood DLC, enforcers are so much easier to put down with that armor-piercing bullet skill or something like that. Compared to the original game, well, enforcers simply stop becoming a threat almost at all. That Bad Blood DLC perk is fucking, you know, overkill. Overkill! It's like these enforcers in the default game, they feel like enforcers, and when you pick up that skill in the DLC, they become like the player character who simply has an enforcer model swapped. By the way, this model of the Black Viceroy, pretty much my favorite model, you can see it in the very first mission as well. And that female Black Viceroy model is actually his girlfriend. Yeah, you can see them boss, and this guy, he gets arrested by the police on the Chicago Stadium. It is an awesome model in my opinion, this leather jacket. It is very, you know, very very classy, so to say. All in all, have I forgot to say anything? I believe not. I believe I've said everything I wanted to say to you. I guess it is kind of my bad that I haven't asked the Silver about characters' health, but all in all, I really didn't want to set myself more health. I really just wanted to play around with models, and I didn't really want to turn myself into Enforcer, into a walking tank with enemies, you know, like storming me and being unable to actually put me down. I bet it can be fun in its own way. Maybe I'll ask the Silver about it. Maybe I'll do a separate video on this, on, you know, about how to change players' health. Maybe I'll just ask in the general modding. I guess there's no reason to bug Silver with this particular question. All in all, yeah, I believe that's all I wanted to show to you. Let's just went through one more mission and call it a day. It is pretty fun, you know, when you've explored pretty much everything in the vanilla game, I guess it's always the first thing you gotta do is take the model you've really liked and play around with it. Like in GTA 4 I've picked that fat biker model, which I really liked. I've even made custom textures for it to align it with the Lost rather than the Angels of Death. And in Mafia 2 I've played around with Greaser model, so I guess it was just really just the thing I've had to do is to play around with the Black Viceroys model in Watch Dogs. Besides, I've had this Bad Blood DLC, which has those kinda tasteless street sweep missions, and I really had to spice it up for myself, so I've chosen several Black Viceroy models, and I'm really satisfied with how it turned out. Down you go, man. Ow, juicy. Yeah, just, you know, if you're watching this video and if you've watched it up to this point, let me know if you're interested into, you know, customizing characters' health or, you know, its resistance, his resistance to bullets. I'm pretty positive something like this can be edited in the files of the game because, well, at least because there is a perk which gives you an additional resistance to bullets and explosions. I believe these perks can be edited to give you a bigger resistance to bullets and explosions. That's the first thing that gets into my mind when I think about this kind of stuff. So I guess it can be worked upon and it can be done. Yep. Therefore, let me know if you want me to do it. But other than that, this is it. Thanks for being with me, cats. Hope you liked it. Stay tuned for more. Good luck.